So let's go on to the second transformations. And this is sort of extracting meaning from the fog that you're left over with once you stop drinking. Before I stopped drinking alcohol, there was a certain lack of meaning in my life. It was just a waste of life. You know, you're doing the same shit over and over and over again, right? Boozing becomes boring, it becomes repetitive, it becomes a life suck, as well as all the other negative stuff like dangerous and whatever it's doing to your body and to your, your mind. Now, we believe in ourselves, we're taught to believe that alcohol helps us to relax, to have fun. And we're so caught up with the bullshit of all this that we don't realize that how many of our days are being bled of any meaning. All the meaning of this 24 hours is sucked out because we're doing something which is just getting us wasted, right? The waste of life. The meaning for me is sucked out of all the good times when I was drinking. And it boils down to that one thing, that behavior of drinking the alcohol, not the alcohol itself. I have to keep stating that it's not the alcohol. The alcohol is just a liquid in a bottle. It's the mentality, because you can switch alcohol for something else and you can still do the same thing. You can switch it for another drug and you can still do the same thing, right? We only have the moment. That's all you've got ever, right? The past is gone and the future is never guaranteed. So all you've got is now. And alcohol sucks the meaning out of every single moment that you're drunk. And afterwards as well, because your brain is in this form of, it's just, like we were saying before, it's just, it's like in a swampland, I'll give you a good example of what I mean. When I stopped drinking alcohol first, and it was 2 or 3 months away from alcohol, I pulled out a box of photographs, a big box of photographs, maybe 250, no more than that, maybe 500 photographs in the whole thing. And I remember sitting there looking at them one afternoon and just thinking, most of the stuff in these photographs I do not remember. And most of them were of those most important moments in life when you do take photographs. I mean, I'm not talking about now when we've all got cameras and people they shoot everything, and you've got so many photographs on your phone or on your hard drive that it's just impossible to go back and look at them all, I'm talking about when you had to buy a roll of film and you were very choosy about the photographs that you were taking, because at the end of the day it cost you 20 or 30 quid just to get 36 photographs. I can't remember what they called them now. Developed, that's it. So it cost you this much money, so you were very choosy about what you took. So it was generally always the really good moments in your life, the moments when you celebrating, marriages, births, christenings, parties, all these kind of things. And those are the moments that you when you get older, you should be able to look at a photograph and it should help you to remember that moment. It should help you to, the memory should come flooding back for you because of this picture. When you're a drinker and you were drunk in those moments, even though the photograph might have been taken when you were not drunk, the way alcohol works is it wipes the whole night out, eventually. And you can't remember anything. So you're talking a really sad situation where all of your past is just wiped out. All the good moments, the ones that you should be remembered, is wiped out. Now, the good part of this is that after you stop drinking alcohol, for me, you really start to, as I said before you stop, your idea of fun becomes much more diluted, and the more you drink, the more you focus in the one area of your life, and the more diluted that whole it all gets for you. So when you stop drinking alcohol, then you start remembering things, and you realize that life is a lot of fun. you have to put in a bit more work in order to get to the fun and to build the fun. It's a bit scary in the beginning because you're having to start doing this without that small slice of instant gratification to get you there. So you have to do it on your own, but you learn how to do that. Life becomes lived. It becomes lived in the moment, and you start having the meaning injected back into your life. Plans start to come to fruition. Your thoughts and your actions are moving towards better outcomes. You're moving towards that best possible version of yourself, and your life expands. Take a look at my earlier videos, and see who I was back then. And you can see the progression as you're watching down through the years. Number 5 is the fog, the haziness, the blurriness, the bleariness, the vague recollections about what happened last night, what happened last week, what happened last year. I said with the photographs, what happened 10 years ago or 20 years ago, the stuff that you want to remember. Now, there's a recent study. It was done by an Oxford University. I can't remember which one offhand now. But they said that any amount of alcohol is bad for the brain. Have a look it up, Google it up, just put Oxford study for any amount of alcohol bad for the brain, and you'll see this study. It's not peer reviewed yet, but I think it's only a matter of time before it is. There was another study that said any amount of alcohol was not good for your life, for your health. So, the two of these are obviously, these are things that we know, right? Our bodies give us enough warning signs about it. We just ignore it. We rationalize what is happening to us. We rationalize the vomit and the spinning. When your head is spinning, we rationalize the hangovers. We rationalize all the stuff that we've said and done when we've been drunk. We rationalize the wasted time. We don't realize how shadowy and groggy our normal thinking has become when we're drinking. And then you stop. And afterwards, the fog lifts, and you don't even realize that you don't realize that the fog was there in the first place until it lifts, until you start thinking on a much clearer level. It's as if you've been short-sighted for that long that you just don't realize it. You don't realize that you're short-sighted anymore. Have you ever seen those videos where there's a baby that's been given a pair of glasses for the first time and all of a sudden can see mommy or daddy? Have a look at one of those videos. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. It's just that level of sightedness. Or when somebody is colorblind and they all of a sudden can see. There's some people who are blind now who are able to see. On that level, that's what I'm talking about. When you stop drinking, you see things in a completely different way. It opens up your perspective, your clear thinking. It's for me, it's one of the best results that I've had of not poisoning myself. If you haven't got that alcohol tunnel, that little hidey hole that you can go running into and hide away from life anymore. You've got to face reality. You've got to deal with reality. You've got to put the tools in place, learn the skills that you need in order to deal with reality and face reality. And it's liberating. It can be scary, right? It can cause a lot of anxiety, but I'm telling you now, anxiety is the best teacher that you will ever have. We don't realize that because we're hiding from anxiety, we're hiding from any kind of discomfort, and we run for the alcohol or whatever else is there. We run for the drug, the thing that we can hide behind and not have to feel it. How can you ever get to that best possible version of yourself if you're living in this indistinct world of confusion and lack of meaning? Stopping drinking alcohol forces you to confront your life head on, warts and all. And you don't have to be perfect at everything, like I said, but it does require you that you do your best. Get to the best possible version of yourself means just that. I'm Kevin O'Hara for habitsv2.com. We help people to stop drinking alcohol and to get to that best possible version of themselves. Take care of yourself, and I'll speak to you again soon. Onwards and upwards.